Hi, Andy. Online people, please give the confirmation. My voice is audible or not? Okay, thank you. So, as part of yesterday's session, we discussed about the joins, and we discussed about basics of joins, and we discussed about how to write the query by using joins. So these are the topics we covered as part of our yesterday's session. And other than these, I think we discussed about null if function also. Okay, so these are the topics we covered as part of our yesterday's session. And now today we'll try to understand in detail about the joins concept. So first question, when we need to go for joins? As per the requirement, whenever you want to perform merging operation between multiple tables in the horizontal direction, in such kind of requirements, we can able to go for the joins. Okay. And next we discussed about how we need to frame the query by using the joins. And so what we can do here, we need to follow 5-step process to write the queries by using the joins. First, we are given the directory table name. After that, we have to give the other table. In between both the tables, we are going to apply the join keyword. After that, we need to apply the join condition by using the on keyword. When we are going to apply the condition, better to give it as a table alias name dot column name. In the select statement also better to give it as a table alias name dot column name only. But tell me, for each and every column, do we need to give the table alias name? Is it mandatory? It's not mandatory, but as per the best practices in the real-time project, better to give it as a table alias name dot column name in the select statement. So this is the way simply we can able to prepare the queries as part of our real-time system by using the joins. Okay. Now we'll try to understand what types of joins we are having. The first one is we are having the inner join. So we'll try to understand when we need to go for the inner joins and by depending on the requirement. If you want to perform or while performing merging operation between two different tables, if you want to fetch only the matcher records, then we can use inner join. So here what I'm telling, by depending on the requirement, while performing merging operation between the two different tables or multiple tables, if you want to fetch only the matcher records, in such kind of requirements, what we can do here, we can go for the inner join. Now, for example, if you want to frame the inner join query, what we can do here in this query, instead of giving the join, just replace this join with the inner. Now tell me, writing the inner join query is a simple or complex? It's very simple, and whatever the query we discussed yesterday, same query, just we are going to reuse it here. Instead of giving the join, just what I'm doing, I'm giving it as a inner join. Okay. Now question is, whenever we are going to apply the inner join, how it is going to work in the database side? Here we need to understand, whenever we are going to apply the inner join as per the requirement, whenever you want to fetch only the matcher records, in such kind of requirements, we need to go for the inner join. Now coming back to here. Now, for example, this is the tables we are having. This is first table. This is the second table. Now in this table, just I'm adding the one more record for understanding purpose. Okay. Now here we are having total 6 records and coming to second table, for example, we are having the 3 records. Now I'm going to write the query like this. Now in this query, what I'm doing here is just I'm giving it as a inner join. Okay. Now tell me, whenever we are going to apply the inner join, what is going to happen? It is going to give the only matcher records. On what basis it will give the matcher records? On what basis it will give the matcher records? Matcher records will populate based on your join condition. Whatever the join condition we have given, by depending on the join condition, it is going to populate the matcher records on top of your output. Now tell me in this query, what is the join condition? E.did is equal to D.did. So this is the join condition, and this is the type of the join we applied. We applied the inner join, but comment here what I'm calling it, this one, this is nothing but our join condition. By depending on the join condition, it is going to verify that record is a matcher record or that record is an unmatched record. Based on that, it will populate the data on top of your output screen. Now in our query here, we given it as a E.department ID is equal to D.department ID. Now what is going to happen? It will verify E.department ID. Coming to E.department ID, what is the first value we are having? Employee table, department ID, first value is 10. Now for this 10, in the department table DID, do we have the matcher record or not? We are having the matcher record. For that reason, this record will populate on top of your output. But tell me, it will display all the columns or it will display only the specific columns? It will display only the specific columns. Now tell me, those specific columns are depending on what? It will display only the specific columns. Those specific columns are depending on what? Whatever the columns we given in the select statement, based on the column names, whatever we mentioned in the select statement, only those columns will be coming on top of your output. Now in the select statement, which columns are given? EID column, ename column, DID column, and DName column, which is nothing but only these column names data will be populating on top of your output. Now coming to here, this IN is falling under the country column. Now it will populate the IN value or it will populate the department name value. It will populate department name value. So here we are getting value as a XS, okay, which is nothing but whatever the query we prepared, from that query it will take everything. And first thing, it is checking what type of join we are applying. First step, as part of execution, first step, it is going to verify what type of join we are applying. We are applying the inner join. What is the purpose of the inner join? To fetch the matcher records. How will you check in the matcher record or not? By depending on the join condition. By using the join condition, it is checking whether that record is a matcher record or not. After that, it is going to give the column names, whatever we given in the select statement. In the select statement here, I given the 4 columns and EID column, ename column, DID column, and DName column. That's the reason only for these columns, it is going to populate the data. Now coming to first record, is it a matcher record or unmatched record? This is a matcher record because in the DID we have 10, here also we have 10. So that's the reason we can able to call first record is a matcher record. Now what about the second record? This is also a matcher record. For that reason, it is given this record also. Employee ID, employee name, department ID, and DName is coming from here. For 10, what is the corresponding value we are having here? XX. So we are getting value as a XX. In the same way, third record is a matcher record or unmatched record? It's a matcher record. For the 20, what is the corresponding department name we are having here? YY. So we are getting this value. And fourth record, again matcher record. Again for 20. Sorry, this is my mistake. This is the fourth record. Now coming to fourth record is also a matcher record. So we are going to get the corresponding department name. And fifth record, again matcher record. Now for 30, we are having the matcher record here. For this record, what is the department name we are having? ZZ. So this is the way it is going to give the fifth record also. Now you tell me, what about the sixth record? Is it a matcher record or unmatched record? It's a unmatched record only because here we are having the 40. But do we have any value 40 in the department table? No, right? For that reason, this record simply we can able to call it as a unmatched record. But here, what type of join we are applying? We are applying the inner join. Inner join will give the matched records or it will give the unmatched records also. It will give only the matched records only. For that reason, here what will happen finally? It is going to give the only matched records. As per the data, only 5 records are matching between both the tables. For that reason, it is giving only those 5 records on top of your output screen. Now tell me, this whole operation is happening for the each and every record, or it is happening for only one record? This comparison operation. This comparison operation is happening for every record on top of your table. And for example, if we have 10 here, this record is going to compare all the records, or it is comparing with only one record? It will compare all the records. Okay. One record is going to compare all the records. Wherever we are having the matched records, corresponding value will populate. What about second record? Again, it will compare all the records. Third record, comparing with all the records. Fourth record, comparing with all the records. Indirectly, as part of this join operation, total, how many comparisons are going to happen? Any guesses? How many comparisons will happen internally? Source table is having 6 records. 18. Every record is going to compare 3 times into the department table, because in the department table we are having the 3 records only, which is nothing but total 8 comparison operations are going to happen. But out of 8 comparison operations, how many times it is having the matched record, or how many times it found the matched record? Only 5 times. Matched record only. That's the reason only 5 records are coming on top of your output screen. This is the way simply we need to understand how joins are going to work in our internal database system. Don't think that 10-10, 1 record. 10-10, 1 record. 20-20 is not going to perform the comparison like this. Just for understanding, we are saying that 10 is having the matched record, 20 is having the matched record. But in the internal database system, 1 record will compare with all the records of second table. Second record will compare all the records of the second table. Third record will compare all the records of the second table. That's the reason in general in the database set we are going to say join is a costly operation or non-costly operation. This is the one of the costly operation. So here we are discussing about only small table and only 5 records or 10 records. For example, employee table is having 1 lakh record and department table is having again 1 lakh record. Now how many comparisons are going to happen? 1 lakh into
1 lakh.
1 lakh, which is nothing but it is the kind of a very costly operation on top of your database system. Just for understanding, I'm saying that as part of running our join queries, it is going to compare one record of one table with all the records of the other table. With that, it will perform the so many comparisons. In this comparison process, whatever the records are satisfying as per the join, only those records will be coming on top of your output screen. Okay. Any questions up to here? Please ask me.
Based on the join condition only the comparisons happen, right?
Exactly. Only based on the join condition.
Okay, sir.
Okay, now for example, so someone is asking only based on the join condition, joining is happening. What I'm telling, only based on the join condition, your joining is happening on top of your database system. Now, for example, in the same query, instead of given the e.department ID, I am giving it as a e.eid. Now tell me how many records we are going to get. First question, this query will execute or not? Yesterday we discussed, Randy, as part of given the join condition, you can give any kind of column names by depending on your convenience, Randy. Here I'm given the EID column, here I'm given the DID column. Someone still given the answer, this query won't execute. Tell me this query will execute or not? This query will execute without giving any syntax error because employee table EID column is there. Department table DID column is there. Then why it will give the error? It won't give any kind of error. But if I am going to run this query, what is the output we are going to get? We are applying what type of join? Inner join. It is going to give the matcher records based on join condition. Now tell me, as per the join condition, in between employee ID column and department ID column, do we have any matcher values? 1, no matcher record. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, no matcher record, which is nothing but this query won't give any kind of error, but this query will give output as a 0 records. Okay, indirectly I'm trying to say in the join condition, as per the requirement, we need to give the join condition. By mistake, if you are giving any other condition also, query will execute, but you are going to get the different kind of output on top of your output screen. Now, for example, instead of 6, here I'm having 10. Now tell me, this query will give how many records?
1 record.
10 matcher record. This query is given the output as a 1 record. But tell me, is it the correct output? My requirement is I want to verify data between department ID to department ID. By mistake, you given the query as a EID, here condition. This query won't give any kind of error. It is giving 1 record, but don't assume that this is the correct data because you given the wrong condition. If you are given the wrong condition, it is not giving any kind of error. It is giving some kind of data, but is it the correct data as per our requirement?
No.
Simply we can able to say answer is no. That's the reason I'm trying to say by depending on the requirement only we need to specify the join condition. Don't give your own conditions, and if you are given the own condition, query won't give any kind of error, but it is going to provide the wrong outputs on top of your output screen. Okay. Any other questions if you are having, please ask me.
So these join conditions impact to our database.
Online people, just one question. Offline people ask one question. Just 1 minute.
The comparisons you are creating, right? The first table, department ID, you will go to department table and check for the tell it match. Then it will write the output, right? It will not go to the next record.
No, for example, see here I'm having the 10 access and last record also having 10 access. Now tell me. For example, in this table, I am having the 2 10 values Sunday. Now what is going to happen? First record is matching. It is right in the data into my target table. Now, if it is not going to verify the last record, what is going to happen? Indirectly, we are going to miss this record, right? That's the reason it is going to scan whole the table. And for other people, one more question, Andy. For example, in the department table, we are having the data like this. Now, you people try to give the answer. This query will give how many records? Here I'm having 10 access. Again, I'm having the 10 access. Now, if I'm going to run this query will give how many records in the output screen?
2 records.
5 records. 4.
Someone is saying 4. Someone is saying 5. Any other answers?
It will give duplicate also.
Duplicate records, 9 records.
9 records. Okay. Any other answers? 7. Any other answers? It's very simple. So what we discussed, Randy, every record is going to compare all the records of the second table. Now coming to first record, do we have the match record or not? We have the match record, so this record is coming into the output. That is for first record. Now this same record is going to happen. What I'm telling, it is going to perform the complete table scan. Second record, no match record with the first record. Third record, no match record. But if you see the fourth record, again we are having the match record or not? Again we are having the match record. For that reason, it will give the one more record on top of your output. Which is nothing but for single record in the second table, how many match records we are having? You are having 2 match records, and the first record is a match record, last record also a match record. For that reason, this query will give output as a 2 records for the first record. What about second record?
Same again.
Second record is comparing with all the records of the second table. Again, for first record, we are having the match record. It is giving this record in the output. Now, same record is going to compare with the second record, not matching. Third record, not matching. But coming to fourth record, again it is matching. For that reason, it is given the one more record on top of your output screen. It is given the corresponding value as a XS. Now, based on this explanation, you try to give the answer. Coming to your question, it is checking the first record and it will stop the scanning, or it will scan all the records here. It is going to scan all the records, and even if it is finding the match record, after that also what will happen? It is going to scan the complete table, because there are the chances sometimes we are having the multiple match records in the second table. That's the reason it is going to perform the complete full table scan. Based on that, it is given the data for all the match records on top of your output. Now, as part of this example, overall, how many records we are going to get?
9.
9 or 7?
Again, 20 is there, sir.
Yeah, I already covered.
20.
Okay, 20 we have only 2 match records, right? Already we covered these records here.
Okay.
So this query will give total 7 number of records on top of your output screen.
Yeah.
Hope it's clear to you. Okay. Yeah, online people, someone is trying to ask the question. Please ask me now. Earlier, someone tried to ask the question. I stopped them. Yeah, please.
Yeah. This join condition will impact on database or only in out displaying purpose?
No, only for displaying. See, whenever we are given the select statement, why we are given the select statement? To display the data in the output, which is nothing but in the internal database system, nothing is going to happen. So in the internal database system, on top of your table, your data is not going to change, but all this execution is going to happen in the internal database system. Finally, what will happen? Only data will be populating on top of your output screen. Whenever we are given the select statement, don't think that in the table changes are going to happen. When data will change in the tables? For which command data will change in the tables? Only for update command. Okay. Command. Whenever we are given the update command, then only data will change in the tables. And if we are given the select statement, data is not changing in the table. It will display the data only on top of your output screen. Is it clear? Okay. Any other questions?
Yes, sir. For example, in DID, if you are having a 7th row as F7F and DID null, and country something like India or US, then how it compares?
Yeah, someone is asking a question like this. For example, we are having the 7th record. Here I'm having the value as a F, and coming to department ID, I'm having value as a null. You people try to give the answer. If I'm going to run this query, what is going to happen? So just we are adding a new record on the 7th record. In the 7th record, we are having the value as a null in the department ID column. If I'm going to run this query, what is the output we are going to get?
Same.
It
in
is
the
going
same
to
way, in department table also will be having a one more record with
okay, you are saying here also we are having the null. Okay. Yeah, tell me now. You only try to give the answer. If I'm going to run this query, so see here, for example, here I'm having the null in the department ID column. Here also we are having the department ID column. Here also we are having the null. Now, as part of inner join, what is happening? It is giving all the match records based on the join condition. Now, coming to here, this record, what is going to happen? Null equal to 10, not a match record. Null equal to 20 is not a match record. Null equal to 30 is not a match record. But here, fourth record, last record is a null is equal to null. Now tell me, based on checking this condition, whether this record will populate into the output screen or not.
No, sir.
If no, why? If yes, how?
Because null is not equal to null.
Null is not equal to null.
Exactly, perfect answer. So earlier what we discussed, on top of null, if we are going to perform any kind of arithmetic operations, what is the output? 100 plus null. What is the output? It will give output as a Null only. Okay. Now in the same way we discuss about the one more statement when we discuss about null and whenever we are going to perform any kind of comparison operations on top of null, what is the output? It will give output as a null only. Here we are having the null, I will agree. Here also we are having null, but here what operation we are doing indirectly? We are doing the comparison operation. Whenever we are doing the comparison operations on top of the null, it is given the 0 records only. Because of that reason, this record will come in the output or this record won't come in the output. This record won't come in on top of your output screen. Okay, this query will give only the 5 records only because you are doing the comparison on top of your null values. Okay, now for example, you want to populate this record also into the output, then what we can do any cases? I want to populate this record into my output screen. Here I want to get value as a AA. Then what is the modification we need to perform in this SQL query? I know this is a kind of a little bit advanced concept. Try to give the answer.
Null.
Sorry?
To convert null to not null.
Convert null to not null. How we can able to convert null to not null?
Coalesce.
By using coalesce. Okay. Now see, for example, why I am telling this record is not coming in the output? Because null to null comparison is not possible. Okay. Now, for example, here I will convert this null to 0. For example, here I will convert this null to 0. Here also I will convert this null to 0 only. Now tell me, 0 is equal to 0. Is a match record or not?
Yes.
It's a match record. With that you can able to get the data. But if you want to convert null value to not null value, how we can able to convert? In the previous process, we discussed about the coalesce function. Now tell me in this query, where we need to apply the coalesce function?
After inner
Coalesce.
after inner join.
Coalesce
of e dot
Yeah.
dad
comma 0.
and comment here we are giving
Same.
coalesce of d dot dad comma
0.
0. So this is the way we can able to change the query. For example, if you want to compare the null to null as per your requirement, and if you are having any such kind of requirement, null to null I want to compare, I want to get the respective record. Directly we cannot able to compare the null values, and for that reason what I am doing here, I am converting null value to not null value. If you want to convert null value to not null value, we need to apply the coalesce function. But where we have to apply the coalesce function? In the join condition, because in the join condition, when comparing null to null, we are not getting any record. That's the reason in the join condition we are comparing null value to the not null value by applying the coalesce function. Now as part of execution of the query, what will happen? For this record, it is applying the coalesce, it is converting this value as a 0. And for this record, here in the department table, it is applying the coalesce on top of the d dot department ID. This value also will converting it as a 0. Now 0 to 0 is a matched record. That's the reason this record will be coming on top of your output. But tell me, in the DAD column, what data is going to populate? This record is coming in the output.
Yes.
But my question is, in the DAD column, what data it will populate?
Null only.
Null or
Null
0?
Null only. Null only.
Someone is saying 0, someone is saying null.
Null only, sir, because we are not updating.
It will display the null value only because in the select statement, what I'm applying? E dot department ID, which is nothing but it is fetching the data from the table. In the table, what value we are having? Null only. But immediately some people can able to get the question, sir, we are applying the coalesce function, we are converting null to not null. How it can able to give the value as a null? So see here, we are doing the converting operation in the select statement, or we are doing the converting operation in the join condition.
Join
In the
condition.
join condition, we are doing the conversion operation. That's the reason in the output screen, it is trying to get the data from the table only. In the table, what's the value we are having? Null. That's the reason here it will populate the output as a null only. Now, for example, my requirement is in the output screen, I don't want to get the null. I want to get output as a 0. Now, what we need to do?
Here in
Compare null equal to null. Get this record in the output. At the same time, in the output, instead of getting the null, I want to convert this value as a 0. Then what we have to do and where we need to do?
after select statement.
In the select statement, we need to apply the coalesce function because in the output screen, I want to convert the null to not null. And for that reason, in the select statement also, we need to apply this one. So in the select statement, for example, I'm giving it as a
coalesce of
e dot department ID,
Comma
0. That's
comma
it.
0. Yes.
We need to give alias name also as department
I
ID.
did.
Now, if I'm going to run this query, what will happen? It will populate this record in the output. At the same time, in the output, this record value will be changing it as a 0. All these are the things we need to perform by depending on the requirement. And earlier, I don't have any requirement to get the null values. That's the reason we are not applying the coalesce. But
Okay.
People whomever not asking the questions, please go on mute only. Every time I cannot able to mute
Hello?
you people. Okay. Now see here, as per the requirement, here we are applying the collapse function on top of our join condition. Don't get any kind of confusion on this. So suddenly we went to some advanced topic because of asking. Some people are raising these questions. Now, whenever we are having null equal to null, what will happen if I'm going to execute this query? That value will not populate into the output. First point. Second point, if you want to do this comparison and if you want to populate this record into the output screen, what we are doing? We are converting null value to the not null value. For that reason, we are applying the collapse function. After applying the collapse function, that record will be coming in the output. But in the output, what's happening? We are getting output as a null. But my requirement is, I don't want to get the null value. I want to convert this null value as a 0. For that reason, what we are doing in the select statement also, we are applying the collapse function. By depending on the requirement, in the join condition, we can able to apply the collapse. In the select statement also, we can able to apply the collapse. Based on that, you can able to deal the null values as per our requirements. Okay. Still, if you are having any questions, please ask me here.
Sir, hello.
Yeah, please.
We are giving collapse function to convert null to not null.
Yes.
Here, without mentioning where ename is equal to F, without mentioning this column, how the system knows the directly enter into this last column, sir?
No, no.
Last
If you see here, have we inserted the column name here or not? You see, I give it as a collapse of E dot department ID. What it means?
Column, not a column, row. I'm asking row.
Yeah, so someone is asking the question, how system can able to understand in the last column I need to change the 0. Tell me here, if I'm going, just 1 second. Okay, when I am going to run this query, it is going to deal with the only last record, or it is dealing with all the records of the table? It is dealing with all the records of the table. Earlier we discussed, Randy, whenever we are given the select statement, whenever we are given the join, whenever we are given the join condition, it is going to deal with all the records of the table. Actually, if I'm going to run this query, what will happen? For first record, it will take the E dot department ID. What's the value we are having? 10. We are given 10, 0. Collapse of 10, 0. What's the output? It will take the value as a 10. Okay. Now coming to this side, I'm giving it as a collapse of D dot department ID, 0. Coming to first record, what is the department ID value we are having? 10. Here also it will take it as a 10, 0. After that, it is giving output as a 10. Okay. Now it is comparing 10 and 10. Based on that, it is given the output of the first record. Same way, what is going to happen? It is doing the similar kind of operation for each and every record in the table. And in the Excel sheet, just for understanding, I given the null value as a 0, but don't think that this operation is happening only on the last record. This operation is going to happen for all the records of the table, but all these records are why not changing? Because all these are already not null values. That's the reason it is not converting not null to not null. And whenever we are given the collapse function, what is happening? Only null values will be converted to the not null. That's the reason all these records are coming as is. Only for last record, it is converting this null value to not null value. After that, it is going to perform the comparison operation. With that, that record will be coming on top of your output screen. Still any confusion? Please ask me. Is it clear? Okay. Any other questions still?
Sir, but we need to match the records with other departments also, right? 10 to 10, 20 to 20.
Yeah,
Here
obviously.
in this,
Yeah, okay. Yeah, continue your question. Yeah, we need to compare query, obviously 10 to 10. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, for this query, we are comparing only null only, right?
In this query, we are comparing only null. Other people try to give the answer. In this query, are we comparing only null values or we are comparing whole data? We are comparing whole data. That's the reason I'm telling, don't get any kind of confusion. And whenever we are applying the inner join, whenever we are going to apply the join condition, earlier what I told you, it is going to do the comparison between one table to other table for all the records or only for few records. It is going to perform the comparison for all the records. And indirectly, if I am going to run this query or if I am going to run this query, total how many comparisons are going to happen? In this example, here we are having 7 records. Here we are having the 4 records. Total how many comparisons are going to happen?
28.
28.
Yeah.
Okay. In this query, it is performing 28 operations. What about this query? This query is going to deal with only null records, or this query is going to deal with all the records again?
All the
this
records.
Query also will deal with all the records only. For that reason, this query also will deal with the 28 times comparison operation. But as part of this comparison operations, here what is happening? Directly it is performing the comparison. 10 to 10, 10 to 20, 10 to 30, directly it is performing the comparison. But here what is going to happen? For
It is
every
converting
record,
the data.
it is converting null value to not null. Wherever we are having the null value, it is converting that null value to not null value. Then it is performing the comparison. For example, if you take the first record, is it null value or not null value? It's the not null. If it is a not null, directly what will happen? It will do the comparison. It will give the respective record. Second record is not null to not null comparison. It is given the second record. Third record also not null. It is doing the comparison. It is given the third record. Like that, for every record, it is going to verify whether it is the null value or not null value. If it is a not null value, directly it is going to perform the comparison. If it is a null value, then what will happen? It will convert to not null as per the query. Here also it will convert to not null as per the query. Then 0 is equal to 0. It is going to perform the comparison operation. Based on that, this last record is coming in the output screen, and don't get any kind of confusion because of applying the collapse function. It is not taking only one record, and it is dealing with all the records. While dealing with all the records, wherever we are having null value, for that null value, it is converting that value to the not null value. Accordingly, it is given the data on top of your output screen. Still any confusions, please ask me. That's the reason only I haven't discussed about this advanced topics, Sandy. But when we are starting about these advanced topics, obviously people will get the confusion, but try to understand. Yeah, please continue. Next question. Offline people, any questions or any confusions? Even if any basic questions also, please ask me, Andy. Because of seeing these kind of queries, don't think that joins are complex, Andy. Why this query suddenly came into the picture, collapse and everything? Someone raised the question how we need to deal with the null value. That's the reason I discuss about this topic here. Otherwise, I don't have this topic in my agenda. I need to discuss this topic in the tomorrow session or day after tomorrow session. But someone raised the question how we are going to deal with the null values. For that reason only, we are discussing about all these things. Because of discussing all these things, other people don't get any kind of confusion. It's very simple. Whenever we are applying the join condition, it is going to compare all the records of first table with all the records of the second table. In this process, if you are going to apply the collapse function, what is happening? If it is a not null value, it won't do any kind of conversion. But if it is a null value, it will do the conversion. After conversion, it is going to perform the comparison. Based on that, you are going to get the data on top of your output screen. Okay. Any other questions still? Okay, nice. So we'll come back to our basic topic on it. What is the topic we are discussing? We are discussing about inner join. What is the purpose of inner join? That's the main topic, right? As part of doing merging operation in the horizontal direction, if you want to get only the matched records as per join condition, and as per the join condition, if you want to get only the matched records, then what we can do is simply we can able to go for the inner join. Okay. Now in the same way, just we'll try to understand left outer join. So next 5 minutes, please apply your complete focus here, and once you understand the left outer join, it is very easy to understand about the right outer join. It is very easy to understand about the full outer join. Next 5 minutes, please be focused here. So what I'm telling here, this type of join is nothing but left outer join. As per the requirement, while performing merging operations, if you want to get both matched and unmatched records. What I'm telling here, as per the requirement, while performing the merging operations, if you want to get both matched plus unmatched records, and in the inner join, what we are discussing, only matched records. But whenever we are going to apply the outer join, what is happening? If you want to get both matched plus unmatched records, then we need to go for outer join. As per the requirement, if you want to get both matched plus unmatched records, then what we have to do here, we need to go for the outer join. Okay. Now here, just I will add the one more statement. In above process, if you want to get only unmatched records from left table, then we need to use left outer join. So see here, first one we are trying to understand what is meant by outer join. So when we need to go for outer join, as per the requirement, if you want to get both matched plus unmatched records. In such kind of requirements, what we can do here, we can go for the outer join. Now, for example, my requirement is I want to get the unmatched records, but I want to get unmatched records only from the left table. Whenever we are having such kind of requirement only, then what we can do here, simply we can able to go for the left outer join. Okay. Now you try to give the answer. If you want to write the query by using the left outer join, how we need to frame the query? Is there any change in this query? Same query we are going to do. Just what's the change we need to perform? Here, just give it as a left outer join. Okay. So that's why I'm saying, Andy, once you understand how to frame the queries, it's very easy to frame the queries. Just what we are doing here, by depending on the requirement, either we are giving it as an inner join or we are giving it as a left outer join. Now my requirement is I want to apply the left outer join. So for that reason, in this query, what I'm doing here, I'm giving it as a left outer join. So with this, we can able to frame the query. But what we need to understand here, we need to understand how this query will work in the internal database system. Andy, just 1 second. Okay, so for example, this is the query I'm writing. I'm giving it as a simply left outer join. Okay, so what we are discussing as part of left outer join, it is giving both matched plus unmatched records on top of your output screen. And when we are given the left outer, what is going to happen? It is going to give all the unmatched records of your left table also, which is nothing but it is given the matched records or not. It will give the matched records. Other than matched records, it is going to give the unmatched records also. But those unmatched records are coming from the left table or right table. It is coming from the left table. But here we need to understand one more thing here. In this query, what is the left table? What is the right table?
Employees are left table.
It's very simple. And if you see here, if you are going to give the table names like this, top table we can able to call it as a left table. Bottom table we can able to call it as a right table. For example, instead of writing the query like this, I am given the query like this in the same line. Now, if you are given the query in the same line, here also, if you see, what is the left table? Employee table. What is the right table? Our department table, which is nothing but top table or left table only we can able to call it as a left table. Now, as part of this example, what is the left table we can able to say? Employee table is a left table and department table we can able to call it as a right table. Some people are going to get the confusion like this, Andy. For example, see, if you see join condition, here I'm giving it as a d.did is equal to e.did. Now tell me, what is the left table? What is the right table? I am given the condition as d.department id is equal to e.department id. Now what is the left table? What is the right table?
Employee table also left.
Here also same employee table is going to act as a left table. Okay, don't get the confusion by seeing the join condition. In the join condition, if you want, you can give it as a e.department id is equal to d.department id, or if you want, we can give it as a d.department id is equal to e.department id. And now thing here is we need to understand on what basis we need to understand what is the left table, what is the right table. By seeing from the from statement. From the from statement, we need to understand what is the left table, what is the right table. Don't depend on the join condition. In the join condition, you can give it as a e dot is equal to d dot, or we can give it as a d dot is equal to e dot and d. If you want to understand the what is the left table, what is the right table, we need to see the from statement. In the from statement, whatever the top table we are having, that is the left table, or whatever the left table we are having, that is only called as a left table. Now in this whole query, now what is the left table? We can say simply employee table as a left table. Okay. Now we'll try to understand one more thing. How it will work internally. First step, it will give all the records of left table, including matching plus unmatching. So understand the steps, Andy. Coming to first step, what I'm telling here, it will give all the records of the left table, whether it's a matched record or unmatched record. It is going to provide all the records of your left table. Now tell me, in the left table, how many records we are having total? Total 6 records. So for that reason, it is given the country column also, or it is given the only up to DID column only. I am saying
Every
all the
column.
records, but it is depending on the column names which we given in the select statement. And in the select statement, which columns are given? E.EID, E.ENAME, E.DEPARTMENT ID. That's the reason it is giving all the records of only these three columns. All the records of your left table. From the left table, it is giving all the records of your left table. Here we are having total 6 records. For that reason, all the 6 records are coming on top of your output. Okay. Now, next step, what will happen is from right table, wherever we are having matcher records, for those records, it will give corresponding values. So try to understand the statement, Andy. From the right table also we are going to get the data, but from the right table what we are getting? From the right table, wherever we are having the matcher records, only for those records, it will give the corresponding value. Now how we are saying it as a matcher record or unmatched record? Based on the join condition. What is the join condition? D.department ID is equal to E.department ID. Now coming to first record, is it a matcher record or unmatched record? With the right table. It's a matcher record. If it is a matcher record, what I'm telling? It will give the corresponding values only. Now from this table, which column data we are pulling? DNAME column data. For that reason, this corresponding value will be coming on top of your output. What about second record? 10 matcher record. It is given the corresponding value. Now you tell me what about the third record? Third record is a matcher record or unmatched record? It's a matcher record. For that reason, it is also going to give the corresponding value in the output. Fourth record, matcher record is given the corresponding value. What about fifth record? Matcher record is given the corresponding value. Now, what about the last record? Is it a matcher record or unmatched record? It's a unmatched record only. So here now we need to understand. From right table, wherever we are having unmatched records, for those records, it will populate null values. So what is happening here? Wherever we are having the unmatched records only, for those records, what is going to happen? It is going to populate the null values. Now coming to last record 40, do we have any matched record here? No. Indirectly it's a kind of a unmatched record. Unmatched record from the left table or right table? Unmatched record from the left table. Right. So coming to 40, we don't have any matched record here. This is the unmatched record from the left table. Now from the left table, we are having an unmatched record. For this record, from the right table, which column we are pulling? DNAME column. But for the DNAME, what is going to happen? Simply because of the unmatched record, it is giving output as a null value only. So this is the way you need to understand how this query is going to give the data in the output screen. Just I will repeat one more time. What is the step one? It will give all the records of your left table, whether it's a matched record or unmatched record. It is giving all the records. So which is nothing but it is giving all the 6 records in the output. After that, what is going to happen? Wherever we are having the matched records, it is going to give the corresponding values like this only. And coming to last step, wherever we are having the unmatched record, for those records, what will happen? It will give the corresponding values as a null values. This is the way we need to understand how your left outer join is going to work in our internal database system. Okay. Any questions on this query or output, please ask me.
Sir, directly or indirectly, can we say in this way, inner join plus remaining records from the left table is equal to left outer join?
Someone is saying that inner join plus remaining records of left table. Okay, so what I'm telling here, I'm telling the same thing. Inner join plus unmatched records of left table. Tell me any difference between both the statements. You can give that statement. I'm not saying you should not give the statement only, but tell me, is there any difference between both the statements? What is meant by inner join? It will give only matched records. Indirectly here, what I'm telling, matched plus unmatched records of which table? Unmatched records of which table? Left table. Instead of this, for example, you are giving this statement. Is it correct statement or wrong statement? This is also the correct statement because inner join is going to give the matched record. Other than matched record, remaining records. What is the meaning of remaining records? It's nothing but your unmatched records. You are fetching the data from the unmatched records of your left table. If you want, you can give this statement or you can give this statement also. Both are going to give a similar kind of meaning. Is it fine? Okay. Any other answers? Sorry, any other questions?
Sir,
Yeah,
left join and left outer join, left join same.
Yeah, both are same only. Left join or left outer join, both are nothing but same only.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Sir, instead of giving columns in the select statement, if we
Hmm.
give star, so will DID column repeat again? I mean, we get 2 columns.
Very good question, Andy. So you people try to give the answer. So for someone is asking the question, for example, that is the next example I'm going to give here. For example, instead of select column names, I'm giving the star. Now you try to give the answer. What is the output we are going to get? First question, if I'm given the star, yesterday also we discussed, Randy, if I am going to give the star, how many number of columns it will display?
All columns, all 4 columns in
All
the
means how many?
6 columns. 6.
row.
Someone is saying 4, someone is saying 6.
From both the tables, what are the columns?
Yeah,
are
how many columns?
Display both.
How many?
6
Six.
columns.
Total
Six.
6, okay. Because we are given the star, and the star is nothing but it is taking all the columns of applied table and all the columns of the department table. That's the reason it is giving total 6 number of columns. And now my next question, how many number of records it will display? How many number of records it will display in the output?
6.
6, okay.
6.
Any other answers?
Matched records.
Someone is saying 7. Any other answers? What is meant by left outer? By default, first step, it is giving all the records of your left table. Whether it's a matched record or unmatched record,
Yes.
it is giving all the records of your
All the
left table. Now, out of all these columns, Andy, which columns are coming from the employee table? We can able to say first 4 columns are coming from employee table. What about these 2 columns? We can able to say it's coming from the department table. Okay. Now coming to here, we are giving, it is fetching all the records of the employee table. Employee table is a left table. That's the reason it is giving all the records as is. Is it clear? Now, from the right table, what is going to happen? From the right table, what is going to happen? Wherever we are having the matched records, it is going to give the corresponding values of your right table. Coming to 10 is a matched record. Now it is given the only access or it is given the 10 access?
10 access.
It is given the 10 access because we given the star, and for that reason, what will happen here? It will give output as a 10 access. What about second record? It's a matched record. We are getting it as a 10. 10 is a matched record. We are getting it as a 10 access. Third record.
20 YY.
Matched record. Again, it's a matched record. What about last record? 30
ZZ.
30 ZZ. Now tell me the answer. What about the last record?
Null values. 2 null values.
Here
null
we are getting the output as a 40 and null, or we are getting any other output. It's perfect answer. So most of the people are saying that null and null. Why it is giving null instead of 40? Why it is giving null? Because this DID column is coming from where? From the right table. What we discussed earlier, wherever we are having the unmatched records from the right table, it is going to populate the corresponding values as a null values. And so coming to 40, in the right table, we don't have any matched record, but you are trying to pull the 2 columns from the right table. That's the reason in the DID you are going to get null. At the same time, in the DNAME also you are going to get the null value. This is the one important thing we need to understand. Here, when we are given the both the columns, for one DID column, we are getting the value as a 40. For one DID column, we are getting the value as a null. Now, people are going to get the confusion. Sir, how it is giving 40 here? How it is given the null? You tell me answer how it is giving. This is coming from left table. That's the reason it is given the data directly as a 40. But this is coming from the right table. In the right table, for 40, we don't have any matched record. That's the reason it is giving this value as a null value. Okay. Any confusion on this output? Please ask me here. Any confusion on top of this output? It's clear, right? Okay, if it is clear, I will give the one more question, try to give the answer. I will put it here. Now just observe one day, same query I'm taking, but instead of E dot department ID, here I'm giving D dot department ID. Now tell me what is the output we are going to get.
Same output will be getting it.
Same output? You mean this output? No. Okay, otherwise I will ask a question like this. If I am going to change it as a E dot department ID to D dot department ID, in the output, we are going to get the same output of the previous query, or we are going to get the different output here?
Different output.
Okay, someone is saying same output, someone is saying different output. What's the correct answer?
See here, because we are getting the data
query,
from the department.
We are fetching the EID comma E name from which table?
Employee table.
E for employee table. Employee table is a left table or right table? Employee table is a left table, which is nothing but these 2 columns data is coming from the left table. But what about the remaining 2 columns?
That is from
D.DAD
department
and
table.
D.DAD name, those are coming from the right table. Now from the right table, when you are going to get the data, if there is a matcher record, from the right table, we are going to get the data. If there is a unmatched record, what will happen? It will give output as a null value. Now coming to first record, in the left table, in the right table, we are having a matcher record. We are getting output as a 10xs and 10xs. 20 matcher record, 30 matcher record. But tell me, for 40 in the right table, do we have any matcher record? No. Which is nothing but from the right table for the respective columns, we are getting the data or we are getting the null values. We are going to get the null values. Now in this query, which columns we are fetching from the right table? Both DAD column and DNAME column. Now tell me here, we are getting it as a 40 null or we are getting it as a null and null?
Null and null.
You are going to get it as a null and null. Okay. So that's the reason. Now you tell me here, whenever we are giving the alias names, we should be cautious or we can give anything here. You should be cautious, Andy. Yesterday I said that we can give anything only for understanding purpose. But whenever you are dealing with the outer joins, Andy, you should be very cautious about table alias names in the select statement. If I am given the e.department ID, it is giving one kind of output. This. Just 1 second. Okay. So if I am giving this query, what is happening? It is given the output value for department ID as a 40 because here we given the e.department ID. Now in the same way, instead of giving the e.department ID, if I am given the d.department ID, what is happening here? For the last record, instead of getting the 40 null, it is given the output as a null and null and d. So by using this example, try to understand whenever we are given the table alias names in the select statement, you should be very, very cautious. Okay. Otherwise, if you are going to give the different alias names, query won't give any kind of error, but it is going to give the different kind of output on top of your output screen. Okay. Any question again on this example, please ask me. Any minor questions or simple questions also, please raise the questions, Sandy, because once you understand the left outer join, it is very easy to understand about the right outer join and full outer join. Is it clear? Okay. If it is clear, I will give one example, try to give the answer. Now see, for example, this is the data we are having in the table, employee table, and this is the data we are having in the department table. I am going to run the same query again one more time. Now tell me what is the answer we are going to get, or what is the output we are going to get, or how many records we are going to get. 8 records. Okay, what is the data? It's very simple, and we're not discussing anything here. Whenever we are applying the left outer join, what is the step 1? It will give all the records of your left table. In the left table, which columns we are giving? Only EAD column and ENAME column. That's the reason it is giving all these records as it is. This is the step 1. What is the step 2? From the left table, from the right table, wherever we are having the matcher records, it is given the corresponding values. And 10, there is a matcher record, 20 is a matcher record, 30 is a matcher record. So for that reason, what will happen? It will give it as just simply 10xs and 10xx. Next record is 20yy and 20yy. And next record is 30zz and 30zz. Now coming to employee ID 6, this is the department ID 40. Now for the 40, do we have any match records here? No. So what will happen?
Null. Null.
We are getting 40 null or null?
Null.
Yes, a null and null. Because these two columns we are fetching from the right table. In the right table, there is no match record. For that reason, it is giving output as a null and null. Now what about 7th record?
50.
50, there is a match record or not? There is a match record. For that reason, it is giving this output as a 50 AA. Now what about this one?
Null.
What about the 8th record?
Null and null.
The output as a null and null, because here there is no null value. Even if there is a null value also, it is not a kind of a match record. For that reason, here what will happen? You are going to get output as a null and null, and indirectly we are not discussing any new thing as part of this example. Just I added some more records in this table. With that, I am trying to understand how many records we are going to get as part of our output screen. Okay. Now just I will modify this requirement, and in this query I am having the one more record like this. Now tell me how many records it is going to populate. Just I added the one new record in this department table. Now how many records this query will populate in the output? Same data records, or different output?
Another same, another column, another row.
Okay.
Someone is saying same. Someone is saying not same. Someone is saying 10 records. 10. Okay. Someone is saying 8. Any other answers?
We'll get another record 9th, EID 9.
Someone is saying 9 records. Okay. Other than 8, 9, 10. Any other answers? Okay. Out of all these 3, what's the correct answer? Don't give me the none of the above.
8 only. 8 only.
10.
8 records.
Okay.
10.
10. Okay.
10.
Okay. So see here, as part of left order join also, it is going to perform the one-to-one comparison or one-to-many comparison.
1-to-1.
1-to-1.
No,
One to
1.
many.
Too many.
One to
One
many.
to many.
So that's the basic concept of the join. That's the reason we started with the basics only. Whenever we are going to apply any kind of join, it is performing one-to-one comparison or one-to-many comparison.
1-to-1.
One-to-many comparison. Now tell me for the first record, how many match records we are having in the second table? 2 match records. Now in the output, you are going to get the only 1 record, or you are going to get the 2 records for the first record.
Records.
You are going to get the 2 records. What are those 2 records, Andy? We are going to get the 1 more record. Here we are getting the value as a 10. Yes, it's okay. First match record, we are getting 1 record. Second match record, we are going to get the 1 more record. So with this, what is happening here? It is adding the 1 more record in the output. Now coming to 20, we are having the 2 match records. We are getting the both the records here. Coming to 30, 1 match record. 40, no match records, we are getting it as a null. 50, match record, we are getting it as a 50. And coming to this, there is no match record, we are getting it as a null and null. Now total, how many records we are getting?
9.
We are getting total 9 number of records, and it's not 10, it's not 8. What is happening here? It is giving output as a 9 records. Still I am repeating the same statement.
Sir, in the second one also, in row number 2 also there is a 110, another 10 is there.
Oh, sorry, it's my mistake. Yeah, correct. Yes, my mistake. Yeah, agree. So what is going to happen? For 2 also, you are going to get the 2 number of records. So with this, we can able to say this is the correct answer. So see here, still I'm saying that whenever we are going to apply the left order join, it is giving all the records of the left table. In the left table, how many records actually we are having? 8. But after that, what we are discussing, whenever we are having the match records in the right table, it is given the corresponding values only. But coming to here, for the 10 in the left table, right table, how many match records we are having? 2 match records. For that reason, it is given the 2 records. And for this 10 also, what is happening? In the right table, we are having the 2 match records. For that reason, here also it is getting the 2 match records only. Because of that reason, it is giving total 10 records on top of your output. Don't question me, sir. You said that from the left table it will give all the records. In the left table we are having the only 8 records. But how it is given the 10 records? How it is giving? Am I given only one statement, or after that I given the other statements also? I given the other statement. What is the other statement? From the right table, wherever we are having the match records, we are going to get the corresponding values. And if it is a single match record, you are going to get the single record. But if it is a multiple match records, you are going to get the multiple records only. For that reason, as part of this example, we can able to say this query will give total 10 records on top of your output screen. Any question again on top of this query or example, please ask me. Any question or confusion? Clear, right? Yeah, please.
If we get the requirement like this empty table, left side table.
Yeah.
Then they will get output like with some other like null values to convert null values by using LSS. I'm asking.
I didn't get your question. Can you please repeat the question? What is the requirement here in your question? You can ask them Telugu, no issues.
అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ ఎంపీ టేబుల్లో నల్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చారు. రిక్వైర్మెంట్ ఎంపీ టేబుల్లో నల్ వాల్యూ ఇచ్చి అవుట్పుట్ లో సమ్ అదర్ లైక్ డిఐడి కావాలి అంటే అప్పుడు మనం కొలాస్ కి యూజ్ చేస్తాం.
అవునండి, కరెక్ట్. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so somebody is asking a question like this. For example, in the ename column, we are having null value only. So in the ename column, we are having the null value. Now, while populating the data into the output, what will happen for the 8th record? Here I'm going to get output as a null. But in this ename column, I don't want to get the null value. I want to get the not null value. So what we can do? Simply we need to apply the coalesce, but we have to apply the coalesce in the join condition or in the select statement. In the select statement, because as part of execution of the query, in the ename column, I don't want to get the null values. In the ename column, I want to convert the null value to not null value. In that situation, what we have to do? In the select statement, we have to apply the coalesce function. It's a blind statement only. Whenever you are having the requirement to convert null values to not null values, then what we can do? Simply we can able to apply the coalesce function. With that, we can able to write the query, and with that, we can able to get the required output. Okay. And just I want to tell one important thing, Andy. If anyone facing the problem to ask questions in English, please ask questions in Telugu. Okay, so because of not having the communication skills, don't try to lose the technical skills, Andy. If you have any kind of questions, but for example, if you are unable to ask the questions in the English, don't hesitate to ask the questions in the Telugu, Andy. But from my side, why I am teaching complete class in English only. What's the reason? To showcase my communication skills. Huh?
No, sir.
See, first thing, in our class, we have both Telugu plus English plus Hindi, some other language people also there are there. So multiple people are there. I need to handle all the folks. First thing. Second thing, if you are going to work in the real-time projects, in the meeting, they are going to explain about the requirements. While explaining about the requirements, they will talk in English or they will talk in Telugu. They will talk everything in the English only. Now, in these 45 days of the classes, if we can able to habituate to understand English, automatically what will happen? Once we are going to work in the real time, those meetings will become very, very smooth. And otherwise, what I can do? If you want, I can talk everything in the English. Sorry, Telugu. Complete 1 hour, I can able to talk in Telugu, and for this other people, I can able to schedule the one more batch, and I can able to handle that batch separately. But if you are going to talk completely in Telugu for all the classes, what is going to happen? Suddenly you have got the job, you are entering into the real-time company, you are going to one of the meeting. In that meeting, they will talk in Telugu or English. Everything they will talk in Telugu, and you need to give the responses in Telugu or English. You have to give the responses also in the English only. That's the reason. Please try to understand English, at the same time try to talk in English also. But for example, if you are facing any kind of issues while talking in the English to asking the questions, don't hesitate to ask the questions in the Telugu. I am not forcing you to ask the questions only in English. If you want, please ask the questions in Telugu also. I will give the answers in English, but you can ask the questions in the Telugu. Okay. For example, you don't know Telugu, you know only Hindi. Okay. If you want, you can ask the questions in Hindi also, but I am not that much good in Hindi. Okay, I can understand Hindi, but I cannot able to talk Hindi. If you want, you can ask questions in Hindi also. I will try to give the answers in English. If you want, you can ask the questions in Telugu also. I will give the answers in English. Because of the language problem, don't stop to ask the questions. You can ask your questions in your own language, but for every question, I will give the answers in the English only. With that, you can able to clarify all your doubts. Okay, I know here we are having non-IT people, and we are having non-experienced people. I know all these kind of category people. So for the reason, just I'm giving the statement. If you have any kind of questions, if you don't know how to ask in the English, don't stop to ask the questions. You can raise the questions in the Telugu. We'll discuss all those questions in detail. With that only, we need to go for the next topic. Now tell me, as part of classes, I need to deal with only real-time people, or I need to deal with the non-IT and non-experienced and other people also? I need to deal with the each and every type of the people. And if you ask me, out of all these people, I can able to say, I will give the more priority to these people only, because real-time people can able to understand or can able to grasp everything very fastly. But non-IT people and non-experienced people, for them, it will take some extra amount of time to understand the topics. That's the reason, if you observe, after completion of every topic, multiple times I'm asking the question, any questions. Don't hesitate to ask the question, even if it is a kind of a minor question or major question or complex question. Don't hesitate to ask the question. But here I'm telling only one important thing. Don't ask the questions on other topics. So for example, today if I'm discussing about the joins, suddenly don't ask me the question on the subqueries. What will happen if you are going to ask such kind of questions, Andy? Other people will get the disturbed and other people will get the confusion. Whatever the topic we are discussing, for that topic you can raise any kind of question, I will give the answer. For example, we are discussing about the BigQuery. Suddenly you are asking about what is data prop. What will happen? Other people don't know about the data prop. Might be you know about the data prop, but other people are not having any knowledge on the data prop. And I'm saying that you can raise any kind of question in any kind of language, but try to ask the questions relevant to the current topic. For example, now we are discussing about the joins. Suddenly someone is asking, sir, how we need to alter the table? Is it the correct time to ask this question? You can ask this question after completion of the class, because already all the people know about what is the alter command, how it is working. Everyone know about that. Everyone did the practice. Now, when discussing about the joins, suddenly if you are raising this question, what is the alter command? What will happen? Other people will get some kind of disturbance. And that's the reason you can ask any kind of question in any kind of language by depending on your convenience. But please ask the relevant questions. With that, other people won't get any kind of disturbance, and other people also will try to understand what is the question you are asking and what is the answer I am giving from my side. Any questions on these things also, please ask me.
Sir, regarding the previous example.
Yeah, we'll go to the previous example. But for this one, any questions? Now, from now onwards, what you can do? You can ask all the questions in Telugu if you want. Okay, but my sincere suggestion or request, try to ask the question. I'm saying try to, okay, not mandatory, try to ask the questions in English. With that, what will happen? You can able to get the communication skills. But still, if you're facing any kind of issues, you can ask the questions in the Telugu only, no issues. Okay, yeah, someone is asking the question. Please continue.
Yeah, regarding that, can you please,
This example,
why it is that row number, the employee ID 3 and 4 is not coming in the output?
3 and 4 is coming now. 3 and 4 not coming 2 times because 20 is having only 1 time, right? See, for example, if you see the 3, how many times we are having the match record? Only 1 time. Coming to 4, how many times we are having the match record? Only 1 time. That's the reason it is given the only 1 time only. Now, for example, here I'm having the 20 one more time. Then what will happen? Then it is giving third record 2 times will come. Fourth record also will come 2 times. Is it clear? Okay. Any other questions? Okay, if no questions, I will ask one question, try to give the answer. With this understanding, you try to give the answer how right outer join is going to work in the database side. See, from my side, what I'm doing is just I'm copying the same thing. Wherever left, I will convert it as a right. In above process, if you want to get only match records from the right table, then we need to go for right outer join. In the query, how we need to do the change?
Right.
Just give it as a right. What next? How it is going to work? Just 1 second. I will take the example. Sir, why you are giving all the examples on employee table and department table? I already told you only when we are discussing about the basics, try to understand on top of the employee table and department table. Once you understand employee table and department table example, then I will give a real-time example. With that, you can able to understand how you can able to frame the query as part of our real-time projects. Okay. Now see here in this query, just what I'm doing is I'm giving it as a right outer join entry. Now try to give the answer. What is the output we are going to get in the output screen by using this query? First question, how many columns we are going to get? 4 columns, EAD column, ename column, DID column, and dname column. Okay, out of all these columns, which columns are coming from the employee table? First 2 columns are coming from employee table, and next 2 columns are coming from the department table. Okay, now my question is, what is the data we are going to get in the output? Whenever we are going to use the right outer join, in the first step, what will happen? It will give all the records of you can able to say right table. If you are applying the left outer join, it is giving all the records of the left table. But if you are going to apply the right outer join, what will happen? It will give all the records of the right table. That can be the matched record or unmatched record. Now, as per the statement, here what data we are going to get? What is the left table? What is the right table in this example?
Department is the right table.
Department is the right table and employee is a kind of a left table. And now what is the right table here? Department table. In the department table, how many records we are having actually? Total 4 records, which is nothing but it will give all these 4 records as easily on top of your output. Okay. Now what is the next step? From the right table, wherever we are having the matcher records, for those records, it will give the corresponding value. What's the modification we need to perform?
Left.
From left table. Okay. So here this is the modification we need to perform. Now from the left table, wherever we are having the matcher records, for those records, it will give the corresponding values only. Now what is the left table here? This is the left table. Now tell me, first record is going to compare with the left table. How many match records we are having?
2.
10, 10, 1 match record, 10, 10, 1 more match record, which is nothing but we are having the 2 match records only. Now for the first match record, what is the employee ID, employee name? 1A. But for the same 10, we are having the 1 more match record. Now what is going to happen? It will add 1 more record here. Here it will take the value as a 2 and B. Any confusion here? For 10, we are having the 2 match records in the right table. That's the reason it is populating the first record and 10x's is coming 1 more time. This is for which record? This is for the second record. Okay. Now in the same way, what about 20?
Sir,
how many match records?
Why it's giving down to the
just for understand. In the Excel sheet, just for understanding, I'm telling Andy. If you want, you can put this record here also.
Okay.
So we are going step by step. Right? In the first step, what I'm telling, it is giving all the records of the left table. That's the reason I copied all the records directly here and there. In the Excel sheet, wherever you want, you can give the values, no issues. But when we are going to run the query in the database side, you can able to get the data in the sorted order. Okay. Now for the 10, we are having the second match record. We are getting the second record. Now for 20, how many match records we are having again? In the left table, 2 match records. First record, 3C. Okay. Now coming to 20Y, we are having the 1 more match record. That is for 4B. That's the reason it is populating 1 more record only. Now what about 30? Only 1 match record. Values are 5 and E. Okay. Now what about 50?
Null.
50. Do we have any match records here? No. If there is no match record, coming to third step only. From the left table, wherever we are having unmatched records, for those records, what will happen? It will populate output as a null value. Now in the left table, for 50, do we have any match records? No. For that reason, here what will happen? It will give output as a null and null. Now you tell me, in the database set, whenever we are going to run this query, it will give the output step by step or it will give the output completely at a time?
Completely.
It will give the output completely at a time. Don't assume that in the output first it will give the 4 records, then it will give the 1 more record only. In the output, it will give all the records at a time. But why we are discussing like this in the Excel sheet? To understand how it is working in the internal database system, I am going step by step only. First step, it is giving all the records of the right table. Second step, it is giving all the corresponding values of the match records from the left table. Third step, wherever we are having the unmatched records in the left table, for those records, it is going to populate the null value. This is the way simply we can able to understand how we are going to get the data on top of your output screen when we are using the right outer join. Okay. Any questions on top of this output? Please ask me again. Any questions? No questions? Okay, then I will give one more query. You try to give the answer. Same query. Here I'm giving e.department ID. Now tell me what's the output. Same query. I'm not doing any changes only. Only just I'm modifying the table alias name here. Now if I'm going to execute this query, what is the output we are going to get? Or my question is it given the same output or different output?
Different output.
Different output. Okay. What's the output then? Where is the difference it will throw? This is the query. I want to write the output here. Where it will give the difference in the output, try to give the answer. First step, what will happen? It will give all the records of your right table. What's the right table here? Department table. Now tell me from the department table, which columns we are fetching? Only department name column values we are fetching, which is nothing but it will give data for the XS, YY, ZZ and AA and D. Just have to keep a column here. Okay, so these values are coming from the right table. After that, what will happen? From the left table, wherever we are having the match records, it is going to give the corresponding values only. Where we are having the match record for 10, how many match records we are having? 2. That's the reason it is giving this record also into your output. And coming to 20, we are having the 2 match records. For that reason, this record also will be coming on top of your output. 30, there is a single match record. We are getting that record into the output. But what about the 50? where we are getting the null. For 50 in the right table, do we have any matcher record? No. For the 50 from the right table, which columns we are fetching? Only EAD column and ename column, or in this query we are fetching the DAD column also. You are fetching EAD column, ename column, and DAD column from the right table, but in the right table there is no matcher record. Now tell me, by using this statement in this output, where the output is going to change?
In null.
50 null.
So 50, we are going to get this value as a null because, just 1 second. Because these 3 columns are coming from the employee table in this example. And only department name is coming from the department table. Now employee table is acting as a left table. We are applying the right outer join. From the left table, whenever there is a matcher record, it is given the data properly like this. But coming to 50, there is a no matcher record. For that reason, for that record, what is happening? It is given the EID, ename, and department ID. All these values are coming it as a null value. This is the way simply we can understand again. So tell me in this example, because of changing the alias name, what is happening? We are getting the same data or different data? We are going to get the different data for one record. That's the reason again repeating the same thing. And whenever we are giving the alias names in the select statement, you should be very cautious. If you are going to give the wrong alias name, automatically what will happen? It will give the wrong data on top of your output screen. Okay. Any questions again on top of this output? Please ask me. Is it clear or getting any confusion? It's clear, right? Okay. Now just I will ask one more last thing.
One more.
Yeah, please.
Adding the one more table, right? Then after the department, adding number right or join. It's salary table or something. So it will consider as employee the right table or department is the right table for salary.
Good question. I will tell you that. 1 second. So somebody is asking a question like this, Andy. I am applying the one more right outer join. For example, on the X table, here I'm giving the alias name is X only. After that, I'm giving on condition. In the on condition, I'm giving it as a X dot department ID is equal to E dot department ID. For example, as per our question ID, here what I'm doing here, just I'm adding the one more table in my join query. What is the table? X table. Now in this, for this one, what is the condition I'm giving here? I'm giving it as a, for example, X dot department ID is equal to E dot department ID. Now you tell me, when you are performing this join, in between what tables you are doing the join? If you see the join condition, what is the condition we given? X dot department ID is equal to E dot department ID. Indirectly, here we are applying the right outer join, but in between what tables we are applying the join here? X table and employee table. Okay. Now you tell me, out of X table and employee table, what is the left table? What is the right table?
Right table is X.
At any point of time, top table is a left table and bottom table we are calling it as a right table, which is nothing but in this example, what is going to happen? Here we are applying the join on the X table and E table. For that reason, here we can able to say top table is going to act as a left table, which is nothing but employee table is acting as a left table, and X table is going to act as a right table. It's clear? Exactly. So depending on the on, so I will tell you here 1 second.
So it will work on the records or it will work on the tables?
First thing, depending on join condition only, you can understand in between what tables you are applying the join. Yes or no? Depending on the join condition only, you can able to understand in between what tables we are applying the join. And here, if you see here, we are applying the right outer join, but in this join, in between what tables we are applying the join? See the join condition. D dot department ID is equal to E dot department ID, which is nothing but you are applying the join between the department table and employee table by using this right outer join. What about this one? Here also we are applying the one more join in the same query, but in this join, in between what tables we are applying the join? In the on condition, I'm giving it as a X dot department ID is equal to E dot department ID, which is nothing but you are applying the join between X table and E table. Now here, which table is acting as a left table and a right table? If you want to understand what is the left table, what is the right table, don't see the join condition. We need to see what? We need to see the position of the table. Here, employee table is a top table, X table is a bottom table. For that reason, we can able to say employee table is going to act as a left table, X table is going to act as a right table. Is it clear? Okay. Any other questions still up to here? Okay. So if no questions, that's all for today. So now after completion of the class, my sincere request, you take employee and department table data in Excel sheet and apply joins in Excel sheet and write output also in Excel sheet. Then run your query in database. Then do comparison between database and Excel. So please perform this activity after completion of today's class. And what is the reason? We discussed about the multiple examples. We discussed about the inner join and outer join and left outer join and right outer join. Now, if you want to understand all this information, what you have to do from your side, open one Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, write your own data in the employee table, write your own data in the department table, then frame the query by using inner join or left outer join or right outer join by depending on your convenience. And after that, who need to write the output also in the Excel sheet? You yourself has to prepare the output in the Excel sheet with your understanding. Then try to create the same tables in the database system, run the same query in the database system, see the output what you are getting in the database, and that output is matching with the Excel sheet or not. Now, for example, DB output and Excel sheet data which you prepared, both are matching. What it means indirectly? Both are matching perfectly. Then what it means indirectly? You understood all the topics perfectly. For example, you are seeing some disturbances or you are seeing some mismatches. Then what it means indirectly? Somewhere you are confusing yourself. Okay, that's the reason to avoid all such kind of confusions. And just to open one Excel sheet, whatever the way I'm telling in the classes, and just to open the Excel sheet, write the data for employee table, write the data for the department table, write the query like this. After that, you yourself write the output also here. After writing the output, create all these tables in the database system, run the query, whatever the query you prepared in the Excel sheet, you are going to get one output in the database thread. Just to compare that output with your Excel sheet. If everything is matching, which is nothing but it is proving that you understood the joins perfectly. If anything is not matching, then try to understand why that is not matching, where you did the mistake in the Excel sheet. With that, you can able to get the perfect knowledge on top of your joins. Is it clear, or any question on top of the statement? Take employee table and department table in the Excel sheet, apply the join query also in the Excel sheet, write the output also in the Excel sheet, then run your query in the database system, then do the comparison between database and Excel sheet. If both are matching, we can able to say you understood all the topics perfectly. If anything is not matching, please try to understand why it is not matching. With that, you can able to get a clear picture on top of our database concepts. Okay, any questions?
Yes, sir. This is not related to joints.
Now, one question only. So first we'll discuss about the related to joints, then we'll discuss about other topics. Just wait for 1 minute. Any questions up to here? No questions,
sir?
Right? Yeah, please. Please continue.
Hello?
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, in the query we are giving e.did or d.did. Is it based on the requirement?
Yeah, based on the requirement. And so far what we are doing, we are discussing general examples. And in the tomorrow session, I will give one real-time example. By seeing that real-time example, you yourself can able to understand what alias name we need to provide as part of the service statement. So far what we are doing, just for understanding, we are giving it as a d.department ID and we are changing it as a e.department ID. But in the real time, on what basis we have to give the alias name? By depending on the requirement, you have to give the alias name. In the tomorrow session, I will cover one real-time example. With the real-time example, you can able to understand how we need to define the alias name as part of writing our SQL queries in the real-time projects.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Is it clear? Okay. Yeah, just one last thing, Andy. See, whenever I'm going to complete the class by 1 p.m., it means what? You can relax after 1 p.m. If you are thinking like this, that is a kind of a normal training, Andy. So you join for what kind of training? This is for JOAP. And as we discussed at the beginning, till what time you have to do here? Till 4:30, you should be here and you need to perform the practice. If you are getting any kind of questions, you need to take the help from the lab assistant. And if you are having any kind of confusions also, you need to get the answers from lab assistant. With that only what will happen, you can able to perform the practice, Andy. But what I'm observing is, after completion of 1 p.m., After completion of the class, I am not seeing anyone in institute. So all the people are leaving immediately. So if you want, you can leave for the day, no issues Sunday. But after reaching home also, at least you have to perform the practice for 2-3 hours Sunday. Otherwise, what will happen? Tomorrow I'm going to complete the giants. Tomorrow I will start with the subquery. Next I will start with some other thing. From my side, every day I am going to complete one by one Sunday. But from your side also, what you have to do? You need to perform the practice. Without doing the practice, nothing is going to happen. So we are almost going to complete the database concepts. After that, what we will start? We are going to start with the Python. In the Python also, what you have to do? Again, you need to perform the practice only. For every topic, you have to perform the practice Sunday. That's the reason my sincere session, after completion of 1 PM class, you can go for lunch and come back and do practice till 4:30 or 5, depending on your convenience. After that, please leave for the day. Because if you are performing the practice in the institute only, if you are getting any kind of questions, you can reach out to the lab assistant. They will guide you. With that, you can able to complete all the practice and you can clear all your doubts only. If you want, you can go to home and you can do the practice at home also. But try to do the practice without missing anything only. Otherwise, what will happen? After 1 week or 10 days, you will come back and say that, sir, I'm not understanding that topic. I'm not understanding this topic only. At that point of time, I can't able to help you. That's the reason. Please do the practice on daily basis without skipping any one of the example. And every day but I want to ensure you that please do the practice without missing anything. Is it clear? Sorry? Lab? She is a lab assistant. Might be introduced to her 10 days back itself. Might be on the day you missed her day, but she is the lab assistant. Chandralekha is the lab assistant. Online, we are not given the support at this. So we'll see one option at this. So what I will do here is every day afternoon, I will check with the lab assistant. I will check with my admin team also. Every day afternoon, 3 to 4, we'll schedule one online session to clear the doubts. Hope it will be beneficial for the online people also. I will schedule, we'll have one, will share a link for 3 to 4. If I'm taking the classes, then might be this is for 2 to 3:30, something like that. We'll plan a day. Afternoon, we'll schedule a meeting. In that meeting, you can able to ask all your questions with the lab assistant. She will guide you to clear all such kind of things. Is it fine? Okay. Okay, then that's all for today and so we'll meet you in the tomorrow session.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please continue.
Actually,
other people, if you, one second, other people, if you don't have any questions, we can leave for the day. Offline people, if you don't have any questions, we can leave for the day. Yeah, continue, please.
Sir, actually, this is one of my